Right, so welcome back to episode number 5 of the 10-6 Diaries series. So I've made a little playlist for this series now, so you can check that out if you want to go and watch the rest of the episodes. But yeah, so this is the week of my season opener, so you're going to see like basically I think it's going to have most of the training that I did in the run up to this season opener. So start off on Monday, did some block starts, did some 20s, 25s and then 30s. Well, I just did 130, sorry, so we did, I think it was 3 times 20, 3 times 25, then 1 times 30. So this is just me like slowly working the distance and intensity back up post injury. So I think this is my second week of like doing sprinting twice a week. So I felt really sore after doing this session and doing the lifts, but it's good to start to see like a positive trend with the times. The times are going down. Ran my fastest 25 meters ever technically. Definitely ran faster like on the way to like 40 meter, 30 meter reps in the past, but fastest official like 25 meter rep if you get what I mean. But yeah, then I ran a 4.06 30 meter without a reaction time, which is I think 400ths off what I'd done when I was training indoors still. So my indoor PR is 4.02 for 30 meters, so a little bit off that still, and I do think I can get sub 4 outdoors this season in training, but I'm just gonna have to keep going, and I'm sure once I kind of get a few comps under my belt, I'll kind of get that fitness and get that form back. So I'm looking forward to doing that. But after that session, I felt really good. I got some food and then headed over to my friend's home gym. So he has maybe one of the nicest home gyms. In fact, no, this is the nicest home gym that I've ever trained in. So I was training with my friend Cal, who owns this gym. He was the guy that was in the background of the last clip that was like mogging me. He trains for like tricking, so I don't know if you know what tricking is, but it's sort of like gymnastics on steroids. That's like the best way I could describe it. So he does that, and then my other friend that you can see in the mirror filming my squats, and he was like filming all my training for me on this day. He does like American football, so I'm sure at some point we'll get a sprint session and it'll be good fun. It's always fun to kind of do some sprints with friends. I've done it a few times in the past, and yeah, it's always like good vibes. But yeah, so this is the sort of like weight room session on the Monday. I was just sort of like crushing my body with like heavy weights, and I felt very, very stiff the next few days. So Wednesday session comes round, I'm doing sort of the same workout, but we do 2 30s. So I did my first 30, it was pretty slow, and then I did this second 30 here, ran 4.1 seconds into a headwind, so I was like kind of like blowing away with that when I sort of saw the time. But I got a little bit of hype because this like kid, he was like copying me. He saw me like run, and then he wanted to copy me, but got a little bit of adrenaline from that. As I say, I respond really well to adrenaline, and it is something that can trip me up quite easily, especially after competing, because it does sort of just like overclock my nervous system essentially. But anytime I get like a little bit of adrenaline in training, I always just kind of am able to like sync things up like so much better. I think my rep before that 4.01 was like, I think it was like a 4.2 or something like that, and then that kid comes down and I all of a sudden run a tenth quicker. So it's like always, as soon as I get a bit of adrenaline going, that's kind of it. It's game over. I'm just kind of gonna produce like really good quality reps. Something I don't really think about like at the time, like when it's happening, but it's just like something that happens with me. And as I say, it has tripped me up in the past because it's what sort of got me injured basically. When I pulled my hamstring, I think I did go into it in episode 2 or maybe episode 3 of this series, but I'm not going to go into all of that again because I've not got a lot of time left with this video. But yeah, so after that I did the weight room session, and I was still feeling like really, really stiff from the Monday session. And going into the sprint session, actually I was sort of a little wary, and like I sort of like didn't want to push sprints too hard because I was scared that I was going to sort of like pull my hamstring again, get re-injured. but thankfully I came out, I survived, I ran the gauntlet and survived, which was a good feeling. But yeah, this was like a really solid week of training. Got really good outputs on sprints, really good gym sessions as well. I felt like this was just a really high quality output week. So I just sort of like trained through this week, and we're sort of into a pre-comp cycle now, so we're just sort of like front loading the week. So we've got our hard stuff at the start of the week, then by the end of the week it sort of tapers off and becomes a lot easier because we're getting ready to run some fast times this summer, hopefully. So yeah, then it takes us to Sunday. So you saw my Monday and Wednesday. This is Saturday. This is the 400 meters. So this was my first time like ever running a 400. I don't think I ever ran one even in school. Like I'd ran an 800 in school once, but never a 400, so this was an interesting experience. So I'd ran the training time, I think in last week's video I posted that, but it was a 56:87 if I remember correctly. I did that in training like 2 weeks prior to this comp. I just wanted to get like a feel for what I wanted to do. So my strategy was to run at about 90% for the first 100, then try and like float after that. But as you can see here, I just did not have like, I just obviously just didn't have a good race strategy in place. I didn't really know what I was doing, so that's my that's my sort of like whole thing. I didn't really know what I was doing. But yeah, 57:43. I mean, if anything, like running that 400 really shows like some of my weaknesses with like speed endurance. But yeah, that was the first 400, and then that was the long jump there as well. So 5:69 in the long jump from 10 steps. Nothing really earth-shattering, nothing special. But yeah, it was good to, at least open the season, get some healthy races, and it was good fun. But that's really about it for this video. So next week I'm going to run my first 200 of the season. So be on the lookout for that, and thank you for watching.